Well, nothing like starting off a good live broadcast with an oopsie. But anyways, hey, welcome to episode 59 of the Wrestling Fans Insight. I'm your host, John Hoppy, and I'm joined by our lovely Miss Heather. Heather, how are you?
Doing good. How are y'all guys doing?
Fantastic. We also have Carlos in the house.
Happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. Well, I don't know if you'll be hearing this on Tuesday, but happy Wrestling Week, apparently. Jesus.
Yeah, way to queue up there. And we also have Brian, the hype Ballard, with us. Brian, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, guys? And since it's Taco Tuesday, we're going to bring our sponsor in for the nacho cheese, right?
Not
For the Bad Monkey nacho cheese.
Yeah, we might as well post it up here.
There it is.
Okay.
Presented by Dollar General. There you go.
Okay. Now, before we get our pantsuit off us, no, they didn't really sponsor this, but it's just a running joke with everybody knows I like to say Bad Monkey a lot, especially to Carlos. And Heather posted a fun picture showing us the Bad Monkey nacho cheese popcorn, and all hell broke loose in our chat from there. So
I like the gift I sent the other day of the monkey attacking. That's going to happen.
I just love that we had to explain that on air now. I love it.
That or throwing some poo at you, like monkeys do at the zoo.
Lordy. Anywho, yeah, we're back. We sorry for our absence last week, but this weekend's going to be a little different. This is kind of, in a way, making up for our episode this past Sunday. However, we're not going to make it on air this Sunday. As many people know, it's one hell of a weekend for wrestling. On this episode, many of you who can see the title, we are actually going to make our predictions for WWE's Night of Champions, AEW's Double or Nothing, and NXT's Battleground. And the funny part is that's only 3, I believe, out of the 6 or 7 wrestling events going on this weekend. And we're not going to cover all 7. Screw that shit. We're just going to stick with the main 3. So
we're going to call it WrestleMania Hangover Weekend.
I was going to say, apparently nobody was looking at the calendars, or they said, screw it. We're going to just walk over the other guy.
Oh, yeah, because Impact Wrestling has an event, too, Under Siege. That's right. I forgot all about that.
Which one was that?
Impact Wrestling. They're doing Under Siege, too. Their premium, their pay-per-view Under Siege is this weekend, too. Impact Wrestling.
If I remember right, I believe they're Friday, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Friday, because that's going to be Trinity's first pay-per-view match.
Yeah, and then we also have Game Changer Wrestling having an event. I can't remember.
They do events every fucking week. Good Lord.
Jeez, you potty mouth.
It's Game Changer Wrestling.
I think Heather needs to give you some of that nacho cheese Bad Monkey popcorn there.
Whatever.
Sure making you a little angry.
I'm the heel today, okay? So whatever.
You're the heel every day. What are you talking
I know. You are too. You're like that. You play Mr. Nice Guy, but you're like the asshole heel too. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Me? I've always been nice to you, Carlos.
John's approaching on Bobby the Brain Heenan mentality here, where he's like, I'm a
right.
good guy.
I know, right? Me bad never.
No, I don't know why you guys twist this shit around all the time on me. Always pick on the little fat kid here, and I'm
a little fat kid too. You know what you're talking about.
You're taller than me.
Okay, so tall fat kid or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Don't even get me going there. All righty. Anyhow, we might as well just get it going, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and start off with WWE's Night of Champions, which is going to be Saturday, May 27th, airing at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, obviously because they're going to be in Saudi Arabia. You're not used to having an NXT event go on after the WWE's PLE, but it's a little bit of a change just because of the difference of location. So why don't we go ahead and get right to it? Let's go with these matches aren't in any particular order also, folks, so please understand where we're recording on a Tuesday. Match card can change and matches may be added as well, so bear with us. So why don't we go with the first match I have listed here? I have Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. Interesting match. However, I think the majority is going to go with Becky Lynch. I'm going to go with Trish Stratus. Brian, why don't we start with you on what your thoughts for this match?
Yeah, I thought the build-up's been, fun. It's, they're using Stratus, who's obviously a Hall of Famer legend, and they brought her back around WrestleMania season, and she stuck around. And I think that's because she wants to, kind of help put over the newer business, right? And the newer ones. Not that they need to be put over, but I think it gives Becky something interesting to do. And I do, however, think that, I could see it going either way, but I am going to go with Becky. So I'll probably just fall into the normal prediction here. However, if they want to extend the feud, I could see it going Trish, but I will just call my shot and say Becky.
All right. Carlos?
I think Trish Stratus is going to win because of like what Brian's logic was, but I do think that this feud that they want to go into SummerSlam, and in order for that to happen, I think Trish needs a win. And I also just think, I feel like Becky needs the wins too. Like I feel like she's lost a lot like over the last few months. But at the same time, I think Trish also needs a big win as a single star, because what's the point if she loses to Becky coming out of the gate? So I think Trish Stratus is going to win this match.
Heather?
I wouldn't mind seeing if a boy toy came down to help her. I think heel Trish needs a boy toy.
A boy toy?
Yeah, like Zion Quinn or something else, like a little young guy with her, like play up to the MILF thing that all these guys are thinking about anyways. Like give her like a boy toy to have as the heel Trish. I think it'd be good for her character.
Are we getting into the old school storyline of Christian and Trish likes it raw storyline?
Yeah, exactly. Like all these guys are being. If you look at the Discord on Twitter, why not play into that and give her like a little boy? Then she could also be coming to the ring with the guy. Like I think it'd be good for like Zion Quinn, who's on Raw. Like give it to him. I think it'd be an awesome pairing.
Boy toy. This sounds like a Chad Frost thing. Just saying.
Ooh.
A young lover, is that better? I don't know. Shoot.
Shots fired. Well, why don't we get Heather's take on this women's match?
Well, as you know, I don't like heels, period. And the whole Trish Stratus thing, like she is really playing into that role like really good, and she's just like being a total bitch, and like but that's what she's supposed to be doing. Like I was thinking, maybe Becky Lynch, but like after listening to y'all talk, like it probably would be better for Trish to win, because like just to keep the feud going, because I don't think like for Becky to come and just win like right off the top, like it's like the feud's not going to continue. So I think Trish Stratus.
Wow, I think that's the first time all four of us were dead set on one person. So
I did pick Becky.
Brian chose Becky.
Oh, sorry.
I could see it going the other way, but I did. Yeah. Heather, do you wear high heels? I see you said you don't like heels. You wear high heels at all?
This guy. Oh, good Lord.
No, because I would break my neck.
Okay.
I would break my neck. I wear wedges. I
didn't realize Ryan Kennedy was joining us from Twitter with the dad jokes today. Thanks.
Sorry, I misunderstood, Brian. I thought you were changing your mind to Trish Stratus. So, okay. 3-1. All righty. Well, so this is going to be the interesting part, because even though they haven't really swapped the belts around, I'm still going to call it based off the colors. So the Raw
Crips?
Yeah. The Raw Women's Championship that is technically held by Belair on a SmackDown show, mind you. Bianca Belair is going to defend against Asuka. Heather, let's get your reaction on that first.
Well, I think, they went ahead and let Bianca keep it because they was wanting her to get to the milestone or whatever. And because I think Asuka should have already won it. So I'm thinking she's going to go ahead and win it this time. And they do need to go ahead and swap the belts out already. Like, what is going on with that? But yeah, I think Asuka's going to win it this time.
All right. Carlos?
I'm gonna hope for the best, and I'm gonna hope that Asuka wins because I'm so bored with Bianca Belair. I feel like ever since her feud with Alexa, and then just her feud with the feud with Bayley. I feel like both those feuds were just underwhelming, and I'm just tired of her being champion. And it's just I wouldn't mind seeing if she turned heel. It's like, but I definitely want to see Asuka be utilized better. I mean, that's one thing with me with Triple H, that when I thought he took over creative, I expected better booking for the women, and that hasn't happened yet. And I hope maybe this is when it starts. So I'm going to definitely root for Asuka and hope that she wins. Choke her out with her own hair, Asuka. Do it.
Brian?
All right. So this goes back to what I was saying around Mania time and the John
Great
Cena
Mood is coming
effect.
out.
So, yeah, the John Cena effect, right? I said, I was fearful of Bianca Belair growing stale as far as if they keep the title on her way too long. And then next thing you know, we're just going to be like, all right, well, that's great. She's beating people, but, we're just passing time. So I'd like to think that this is the WWE saying, we are running a little stale with her. Let's freshen it up. And it could be a heel turn that freshens it up. We don't, that could be a route they go. But ultimately, I do think it needs to be Asuka. I think they need to correct history a little bit. So I am going to pick Asuka. However, I wouldn't be surprised with a heel turn and they keep the title on her as well. So
I am going to be the outcast of the group here. I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to keep that championship on Bianca Belair. Bleh. That's all.
I feel like they're picking, like, in this era. People have shorter attention spans these days. Like Brian was talking about earlier with trying to do smaller episodes of podcasts. It's like they pick in the wrong time and the wrong era to do these long title reigns, because I just don't think people have the attention spans for them anymore. But I get it.
Well, and I think for some of us long-time wrestling fans, we kind of enjoy those long title reigns. However, I just don't think the women's division is big enough to keep that belt on Bianca right now. That, or we just got too many titles with the not the SmackDown, but the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. It's just really rough because you can't, if your roster isn't big enough to support 3 titles, which right now I don't think it is, you eventually end up running out of opponents for Bianca with that long reign.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Carlos says, the attention span isn't there for most of your modern day wrestling fans. So, however, I don't know, unless they're going to be changing the names or the way those titles look, which I think maybe that is going to be the case. That's why they're going to keep it on Bianca this time. So,
and actually, you guys are talking me into it. I'm going to pull a reverse move, and I think I am going to go Bianca because, one, you guys convinced me there, and I'm like, yeah. And then 2, the WWE, I forgot about this point a minute ago, but they severely want to update their record books. And they've done that a little bit with Roman Reigns, right? Because now they're naming him with Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan, and he's the longest reign. And they're going to do that with Gunther and the Honky Tonk Man too this year. I'm predicting that. But ultimately, I do think, because they want to update those record books, they're going to keep this on Bianca. I wouldn't, again, be surprised if it was a heel turn, but I am going to reverse my pick to her because that's just what logically I see them doing.
But they already are calling her the longest modern day women's champion. So they've already started with that because I know Trish's reign as the women's champion was longer than hers, but now they're just changing the wording, which that's the thing they can do anyways. They just change it to whatever narrative they want, but they're already calling her the longest modern day women's champion.
Yeah.
Well, they just need to find a way to have that championship stay on her for 28 more years and she can take over.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, And this is an overall card too, where I was thinking about it. I don't know if many title changes actually happen at Night of Champions. So
to me, they should just rename the titles the WWE Women's Title and then the World's Women's Championship. But again, I feel like they think if they change it, then that's gonna. If they change the name now, I feel like that's gonna ruin Bianca's reign. So I think that's why they're kind of holding off on it right now, which is totally stupid.
I personally would like to see them call one the women's title and then call the other one the Divas title. I mean, I know they don't like that term, but you have a show named after Total Divas, right? And I could see that's a way to distinguish the two different titles on different brands. So, I mean, I would like to see that because, we got to get rid of the similar copy and paste titles like we've
and they don't make make the new design. Don't make it a butterfly. Make it look more distinguished.
Exactly.
Why not? I personally wouldn't mind a replica of like the big gold belt for the women. So that's why I say the world's women's title.
Yeah, that makes sense. I see that.
As long as we don't call it the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, we'll be fine. Because I can only imagine how bad that will go over.
Like you just also call one the Women's Universal title and the WWE Women's Champion too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Can they do a thing where they maybe have them pull it out of the infamous trash can that
Jesus.
Medusa. Dumped it in?
No, just leave that alone.
Be like, guys, look what we found in the landfill.
Oh, good Lord. Bring back Duke to Dunter Josie for a run and have him go find it. Is that what you're saying?
I love it.
You might as well just bring back the old WCW World Television Championship, too. Oh, wait a minute. Hacksaw already found that in the trash. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Well, why don't we move on to the other women's...
Oh, you got to say hello if you say Hacksaw.
We'll move on to the SmackDown Women's Championship on Raw.
I'm confused already. My brain hurts.
Yeah, it just drives me nuts. But champion Rhea Ripley will be defending against Natalya. I think it's going to be an easy call on this one. I'm going with Rhea Ripley. Carlos, let's start with you on this one.
Well, considering Natalya hasn't won a singles match in about 2 years, I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley on this one. Don't call it a spoiler.
Dear Heather,
Rhea Ripley.
would you like to rethink that?
No.
Okay. Brian?
Natalya. Always a bridesmaid and never a bride. She has to realize her place in the WWE is to onboard and work with all the younger talent. And we've seen that story unfold for years. But yet she's the little engine that just could and keeps trying. And then she gets smacked down by the best modern day women's champion. Rhea Ripley is my pick.
All right.
And if you're listening, WWE, just put Tamina and Natalya back as a tag team, please, because that was a really, really cool storyline.
Yeah, that was very cool.
It was really cool. That was Tamina's first ever title. They were great as a tag team. They should just keep them together as a tag team. Defending the old guard.
Well, and I think one of the most underappreciated, undervalued women talent has always been Tamina.
Oh yeah, the fact that she's never been women's champion is a crime.
Yeah, I mean, something's wrong with WWE not putting either of those championships on her. She should have had multiple reigns by now. Honestly,
on Natalya, I do want to say because I know I went a little heel promo on her, mini heel promo on her, but I do respect Natalya, and I love what she does for the company and the product. Unfortunately, it's just they've allowed her to stay kind of stuck in the friend zone for so many years, and it's just too late, because I mean, they had their opportunity. She's a heart, she's a veteran, she's a good wrestler, it's just they waited too long. So
her heel run that she had on SmackDown a few years ago was like the best thing she ever did when she regained the championship.
Yeah,
won it for the first time. Well, because she was Divas champion, but a long time ago. But when she finally won the SmackDown Warriors title and she was a heel, like that was great, Natalia. She's better as a bitch.
Yeah, and I even liked her when they first brought her in with was it Teddy Hart and the whole Hart Dungeon thing. I was like, go with this. And TJ, not TJ, but
it was TJ, and it was like Teddy Hart though. The British Bulldog son.
It was Tyson.
The British Bulldogs.
Yeah, it was Tyson Kidd and Davey Boy Jr.
Davey Boy Jr.
Yeah.
Or I think he went by Harry Smith.
Yeah, Harry Smith, and then Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, and Tyson Kidd, and I thought Teddy Hart was there for like in the very beginning, and then he got in some trouble, and WWE cut him pretty quick. I thought it was like I'm talking like a week and a half.
I think he was in Florida wrestling. He was never like on the main program.
Yeah, he was there for like a cup of coffee, but then gone in no time.
But I thought that was the best opportunity for Natalia because I was really into that, and then they just never did much with her. And then every once in a while they pull her out to lose in matches like this, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
All right. So let's go on to the Intercontinental Championship. The champion Gunther is going to defend against Mustafa Ali. Brian, why don't we start with you on this one?
Yep, it's going to be Gunther, hands down. Like I said earlier, he's going to break the Honky Tonk Man record. WWE wants to freshen that record, and he's still on a big, mid-card old school style push. He had a great showing at the Royal Rumble. He's held on to the Intercontinental title a long time, and who's Mustafa Ali? To the WWE, who's Mustafa Ali to take that off of him? So, it's going to be Gunther for my pick.
Heather?
Yeah, I'm going with Gunther too because I love Mustafa Ali. He's done good things, but Gunther is on just a roll with everything, and he's getting a really big push, and he's had some great matches. So I don't see them taking the belt off him anytime soon, especially not for Mustafa Ali, especially after the way they've treated him and stuff. So I'm going with Gunther.
Carlos?
I'm going to say almost gets added to the match. I'm scared.
Yeah, he's the special guest referee.
He did fly down, so I'll call MVP's gonna pull a deal with the Saudi government and get almost added to the match. And it's definitely it's gonna be Gunther, like Brian already preluded to. They've already gone this far with them. It's time for him to break Honky Tonk Man's record as long as running Intercontinental champion. I definitely see Gunther winning. I definitely see Mustafa Ali having a good showing in front of the Saudi crowd. If he gets the kind of reaction like with that what's her name got in Puerto Rico, I hope they play off of it and they kind of use this to build him more as a top face. But even though I don't know if he's a face because he does this whole contradicting like smartass character on TV right now, so he's kind of like I guess he's a tweener. But definitely looking for him to have a good showing and surprise people because he's a really good wrestler. So again, it's just a filler match for me, but I'm definitely looking for Ali to show up. But at the end of the day, Gunther is going to retain the title.
Yeah, no argument for me. I am definitely throwing my name under the Gunther bandwagon there. So why don't we go to the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship? Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be defending the championships against Solo Sikoa and the Tribal Chief, the undisputed WWE
1,000-day reign,
Roman Reigns. And Heather, do you want to get off into this match?
I swear to God, I am so pissed about this. Like, I mean, like the whole thing, like how the match came up brought me because Roman showed his ass with the Usos and everything, and like I mean, just really, you just put yourself in this match and you trying to come after these titles when you got them two damn titles you holding hostage, like you trying to take these other titles, like really, like go on with your damn self, like just get lost, like okay. I just hope like hell that Sammy and KO keep their titles. I'm thinking like this is what I was talking about with somebody else. Is like the Usos maybe get involved in the match. Either they think they're going to help Roman, and they ended up it backfires and it costs Roman the match or whatever. But yeah, I'm saying that Sami and KO keep the titles.
Do you want to think about this one a little more?
No, man. I'm telling you, you gonna be. I'm be one pissed off bitch if Roman and Solo get them fucking titles. I swear to God.
All right, Brian, do you have a calmer reaction?
Yeah. So once we really get this streaming going here, I'm going to figure out a way to create a Heather rant meter that times how long for. I got to make that a thing somehow. So it's like, and then just see if she can.
Give one to her like KO punching Roman Reigns too. Like we need a little like her beating up like her head on top of someone else's body, like beating up Roman Reigns. One for Dominic Mysterio too.
I'll put Heather's head on Amos's body. That's what I'll do.
There you go. There you go. Wearing high heels.
Wearing high heels. So for this one, to me, this is the most unpredictable match, unpredictable match on the card. The rest of them, you can kind of like, all right, it's going to pretty much fall in line. This one's going to create and continue more stories. And I really think that's what they're looking to do with this. The question is Sami and Kevin, do they have any longevity as tag team champions? Can they keep their popularity? I'm sure, but can they actually keep interest in the title long term? And if so, that might opt you to pick Roman and Solo, right? But then again, are we really going to hand all these titles over to Roman and Solo? Maybe, right? And then at that point, what do you do with those titles? If they win them, it creates a friction with the Usos. I would love a scenario where they win those titles and then Roman on SmackDown walks out with all the titles and throws them back at the feet of the Usos and says, try not to lose your toys. And so it's basically reaffirming that big dog status. So do we want to go with the breakup of the Usos or do we want to, kind of continue that? So it's a hard one for me to predict. Something tells me it will continue storyline, but I am going to go with Roman and Solo just because I think there's more of a juicier storyline for us to talk about afterwards. If the Usos cost them a win, that'll happen. It'll continue story, but it's a little more just, tunnel vision versus all the different options if Roman and Solo win. So I'm going to go with Roman and Solo.
Carlos?
So when William and I were doing this, the thing I talked about, what I thought was going to happen with this already, I totally 100% think Roman and Solo are going to win. I think because even if this was a Triple H plan, like let's say Triple H wants Sami and KO to win, I see Vince McMahon coming in and go, no, damn it, put the belts on Roman, yeah. Like I just see this is like I just see Vince McMahon not wanting this to happen. So I think what's going to happen is I think Roman is. I think this is a way also for them to split the tag titles because I think part of like with Paul Heyman being there and the way like he was getting the Judgment Day and Imperium to help them. And so what I think is going to happen is I think Roman and Solo are going to win, and then Roman's going to say him and Solo they won't be going on Raw, so they're going to relinquish the Raw tag titles, and those will go back to Raw, and then we'll see a tag team title tournament for the Raw titles on Raw. And we'll see the SmackDown titles just staying on SmackDown. And maybe we'll see like the Usos and Solo defending them via Freebird rules on SmackDown on behalf of Roman Reigns. But I definitely think that the Bloodline's taking those titles on Saturday.
Interesting. I do have to say, Brian made a point that I kind of was gonna make, but I don't think right now. I don't see the tag team title reign lasting much longer for KO and Sami. However, I just don't think Solo and Roman are going to be the ones that dethrone them. Mainly because we saw that inadvertent shoulder bump between Roman and Solo last Friday on SmackDown. It kind of looked like it rocked Reigns a little bit after seeing the way he looked at Solo after that bump, and Solo looking back a little bit like, what the hell? I don't know. I may be seeing that Solo stays united with his brothers and the three of them turn on Roman.
Okay.
I think it's gonna happen, but I don't see it happening. Yeah, I think that's what happens when Roman finally loses the title. Like he's looking for their help, but they leave him all to him. They leave him to fight like Cody by himself, and that's how he finally loses the title.
Well,
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was gonna say this really, you just segued kind of like I had two questions I wanted to throw at you guys because about this championship match. So what John was saying, my first question is, does Solo side with his brothers, or do you guys think he stays with Roman during this inevitable breakup? So I know John just said he sees them staying with the brothers, but Heather and Carlos, what do you guys think?
I think he'll go with his brothers because like what happened with Friday when Roman bumped into him like that. I said that people were saying that Roman actually looked like he was scared of Solo, and then the way Solo looked at him, and then like I noticed when they were back in the locker room when Roman was talking and he was throwing his usual fit, Solo was just staring him down, like just looking at him. But he just had this look on his face, like, "Bitch, I'm tired of you." I'm tired of the way you talk to my brothers. He just had this look on his face. I think he's going to stick with his brothers.
I was listening to the K100 podcast on Sunday at work, and they were kind of like every at the beginning of it, they always replay like a promo from like either the past week or the before, and they were playing like the Jey Uso promo back when he was feuding with Roman Reigns. When we were in the Thunderdome era. And they were so good even back then. And I think with Roman wanting to go to Hollywood, I think that he's going to do whatever he can to build his family up before he leaves, and he's going to be even more part-time. So I definitely think in the end of the day, like Solo's going to go with his brothers, but it's also going to be used to propel them to like main event stars at the end. So I definitely think at the end of the day, they'll stick together and they'll go against Roman Reigns. And like I said, I predict this happens like at SummerSlam where like, they're supposed to help Roman with Cody. And Roman's kind of just left on his own, and that's where he loses the title finally. But I do think that they're going to eventually go. They're going to stick together as brothers, most definitely.
Yeah. I was like back and forth on it, right? So that's why I really wanted to know your guys' thoughts. I think you guys convinced me of that too. Silent Solo has been the mystery for me, right? And we don't know what he was going to do when he came out and Roman sent him out, and then Matt Riddle interrupted him weeks ago. And I'm like, that's been intriguing to me because I'm like, man, they have really built him really well, behind the scenes. So I was curious of your guys' thoughts. So thank you.
Yeah, because they can keep them all. They can keep them all as heels. Like I think even Jey Uso is good as a heel. Maybe this is how they turn Roman face eventually. Because I definitely could see Paul Heyman's being Solo's manager, and him being that kind of unstoppable heel for them. But yeah, I definitely see them sticking together.
Cool.
What was your other question? Was that there?
Yeah, I can do that. My other question was, really what's next for KO and Sammy? So whether they win or lose this, right? And my initial thought is like, these two always backstab each other and then they become best friends and they, but where's the longevity with these two? And do they have anything, long-term to do as a tag team after they're done with the Roman and Usos? So I guess that's the other question I wanted to throw. I was like, is there a long-term plan for them?
Well, for me, like I really think what's going to happen with what I said. So I do think that Roman and Solo are going to win, and I see them relinquishing the tag team titles back to Raw and having a tournament. I would like to see them play on with them together. So I wouldn't mind seeing Sammy and KO, in like a triple threat match against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, and then you kind of do play into that story of do they stick together? Do they stab each other in the back to try to win the title? I personally hope that they stick together. I think it's really hard to build good faces, and I don't want to see Kevin Owens become the modern day Big Show either, where he's turning heel and face so many times that you forget. Like, just let them stay one or the other. I personally don't want to see them backstab each other again. I kind of want to just see them stay together as friends. That's my own personal hope.
No, cool. Very cool. Yeah, like I said, it's questions I've been trying to get around. Heather, John, what do you guys think of that?
Knock, knock.
Well, since Heather's not going to talk, I don't know. I think the minute they lose the championships, one or the other is going to make the heel turn. More than likely KO than Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
I just see an interesting twist where one of them just realigns with Roman Reigns after the title loss, or who knows. And that could be the factor if they do decide to go and put the championships on Solo or Roman. Is maybe Sammy was just playing it the whole time and he realigns with Roman but turns on the Usos. Who knows? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's why I wanted to have a little discussion around this match, because I just feel like it could be the domino effect for everything. Heather, did you have any thoughts on long-term plan for KO, Sammy?
I'm really hoping they stick together and don't do the whole backstabbing thing again, because I'm really getting tired of it. And y'all are like really ticking me off like saying Solo and Roman are gonna win, but and then especially John, you talking about when I'm gonna get back with Roman, really? But anyway.
Heather, book the first. Let's bring back an old school matchup. Let's have the Kiss My Foot match, Roman versus all the Usos.
Ugh. No.
Keep the feet out of it, please.
You're old school, Jerry Lawler.
But like I said, that's what I said. At the end of the day, I don't trust this. Even if the plan is for the plan was for Sammy and KO to win, at the end of the, I just see Vince pulling a 360, be like, nope, let's put it on Roman. Even touching this whole storyline was playing with fire, and I feel like now they're gonna just go all the way in with it. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I'm gonna be having one of them nights where I'm gonna be screaming. One of them days I'm gonna be screaming at the TV again. I swear. Don't call the police, neighbors.
Well, I think the theme, right? Like you guys are hitting at Night of Champions and Roman holding all of these 20 different belts, right? They almost want that image, right? Like he's the greatest of all time. He's got all these championships that he can't even hold, and he's got to put them all over him. So it's almost like they're countering, and I don't think this is really the case, but the whole Kenny the Collector thing, right? So from a couple years ago with Kenny Omega, where he held all those titles. But yeah, I feel like the WWE just loves their gimmicky Night of Champions. Look at all these titles one guy has kind of thing.
Anyway,
that's all the questions I had. I was just curious because I was reflecting on it all week, and I was like, man, I wonder what everybody else thinks on this.
Well, not to kind of kiss ass and get back on her good side, I am going to stick with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn keeping the championship. So I hope I'm forgiven now, Heather.
You are.
I feel like we just aligned our tag teams again, like on our draft video.
I know. The two Raw GMs sticking together. How cute.
The GMs over there sticking together. We got the hype and your daddy's type sticking together. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. We want those belts on our brand, damn it.
And this has been kind of quite the build with how the fight's going to go, mainly because many people felt it was a lucky win over Brock Lesnar. But let's go into Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes too. We've been seeing all the brutal attacks by the Beast on Cody lately, especially recently on Raw this week. Pretty much busted Cody, broke Cody's arm, busted Cody's hand, and Cody still wants to fight him. It's actually a better build than what their match at Backlash was. There's many different ways, but I think we end up seeing this being a tied 1-1, and we'll see a rubber match between the two. What's your thoughts on this, Carlos?
So I have two different things. I feel like what's going to happen is what you're saying. I feel like Brock's going to win, and there's going to be another match. But what I want though is I want to see Cody Rhodes win. So my heart and my mind are telling me two things. My heart wants Cody Rhodes to win, and then he goes on to win Money in the Bank, and he goes on to call a shot and beat Roman at SummerSlam. That's what I want to see. So I don't want another rubber match because I feel like I don't want that to be Cody's match at Money in the Bank. But at the same time, it doesn't mean Cody couldn't fight twice that night either. So again, it's just interesting to see. You know, as much as I hate saying it, I think they did make the right call with making Brock. As much as I was enjoying face Cowboy Brock, heel Brock Lesnar is on another level, and he's just such a diabolical heel. And again, I'm like, how's he not hurt? I mean, I'm like, how's he not really hurting Cody Rhodes? Oh my gosh! Like that was like a brutal beat down on Monday Night Raw. So I'm gonna go Cody just because I want him to win so badly. But my brain's telling me Brock, and my heart's telling me Cody. I'm gonna go with my heart on this one.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm going to line right there with Carlos, and I'm going to go Cody Rhodes because, you know, they're doing what they should have done with Cody back at the Rumble, right? And like make him suffer a little and build him up and not have him enter at number 30, right? And so I feel like WWE is starting to do that with him. But I also believe, even though we know the predictability of, the rubber match and let's have 3 matches in a trilogy, I want to say that isn't always necessary. And like I said, what I'm saying and what probably will happen might be 2 different things, but I am going to pick Cody because I feel like he could put the exclamation point on his win from last month in Puerto Rico and turn the page. Let's get him onto something else. And maybe it is Money in the Bank. And maybe that's the next thing that he wins that gives him a reason to jump back over and contend when time is right for Roman. So I'm going Cody.
All right, Heather, you're up to bat.
Well, I was gonna say Cody, but I think Brock's gonna just kill him. I don't know.
Don't you like the heels? Jeez.
Well, like I watched last night, and I was like, Cody just kept talking about he wants to keep going. He wants to keep going. I was like, I looked at my son. I was like, I guess he just wants to die. I was like, because I was like, he just wants to keep going. Because, like I had already told John, I was like, my son just like, he likes just watching Brock beat Cody up. I mean, he just loves it. And I told him, I was like, I think he wants to die. And my son was like, well, I guess he does. So, I mean, I just think Brock's just going to just brutalize him and Brock's going to win.
Yep.
I want everybody to know this is a first for our podcast. Heather has now picked 3 heels to win.
I know, right? Jesus.
In a pay-per-view predictions. I'm starting to get a little scared.
She's coming to the dark side. Yes. Excellent.
I think it was obvious my choice. I think we're going to end up seeing a rubber match. I think we're going to see a tied series 1-1 after Night of Champions. Brock will even it out with Cody here. But now we look at the main part of the theme of the pay-per-view, Night of Champions, for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament Final. Representing SmackDown will be AJ Styles. And for Raw, it will be Seth freaking Rollins. This one, man, I can see it going either way on this one. And I just think for interesting purposes, even though Roman Reigns has pretty much been drafted to SmackDown, I have a sneaky suspicion we might see one fooled around the fans and thinking AJ Styles might actually win this. While we go with Heather with the first, well, I should say the second pick here.
I keep saying that Seth Rollins is going to win, but like I was, he's supposed to be working on that movie or whatever. So like a lot of people are saying that he's not going to be around to have the title or whatever. And also like I don't like AJ Styles. I think he's supposed to. You said he's on SmackDown, right?
Say that again. Sorry.
He's on
AJ
SmackDown,
Styles is on.
Yeah.
Okay, like I don't even understand why do they even put SmackDown people in the tournament anyway. If it's supposed to be the title's supposed to be on Raw. That's one thing I didn't even understand at all.
They did
because
mention
they were trying to counter program and NBA playoffs.
Yeah, they did mention the winner of this match would be on Raw no matter what. Triple H mentioned that.
Okay.
It was a while ago, but he did briefly mention that.
Okay. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Seth Rollins.
All right. Carlos?
Again, this is one of the things where my heart and my brain tells you I'm going Seth Rollins too. Like I just feel like they can't do this again. He worked really hard to build this character back up and to get himself where he's at right now after the whole debacle with him and Bray and the Hell of the Cell and Saudi and just his whole character. He's had to work really hard to build this character, and Seth Rollins is Triple H's guy. And with that being said, I think it's time to crown him and have him be the face of Monday Night Raw. And I think Seth Rollins takes the title and gets the win.
Brian?
Yeah, you guys are hitting a lot of really good points. I am looking at this feud, and I am going to go with Seth Rollins, and here's why. One, he's so popular with the crowd right now. Two, he is, to Carlos's point, a Triple H guy. I mean, he uses his finisher, for crying out loud. And three, I look at this from a overall standpoint. At the end of the day, yes, they're both meet the qualifications to be a first-time title holder, right? They're both proven veterans. They're both former champions. So, that's what I wanted out of this title. But I see Rollins taking this because he's the homegrown WWE guy where all his fame pretty much came here. AJ made, his face in another place and then converted into the WWE guy. And there's always something about that where they're going to go with the homegrown talent. And so that's my third reason. So I do think Seth freaking Rollins wins. And just for a bonus reason, Roman's the champion on the other brand, and him and Seth will always be connected through the annals of time. So that would just be the face of each brand, would just kind of make sense. So there's my pick.
And the fact too that to kind of touch on the fact that Roman's really never beat Seth in a singles match either, is that kind of Seth having Seth wins, it adds credibility to the title, even though it is a secondary title. It gives it automatic credibility as well.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point.
Come on, Kingmaker, What's your pick?
Well, I thought I already said it, but AJ Styles.
Okay.
I'm the outcast on this one. One, because I think much of the WWE universe out there has the gut feeling Seth freaking Rollins will win this, and deservingly so. Nothing against that. I just think when much of the universe or the majority of the universe will sit here and say, oh, Seth's going to win, Seth's going to win, Seth's going to win. Kind of much to what we all thought Cody was going to defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I just see this because I know as many people will say, oh, Vince McMahon's not involved with decisions. Bullshit. I think we see the Vince McMahon swerve on this match. And I could see that AJ Styles may win this. I would love to see Seth freaking Rollins win it. I just got that gut feeling. And that's my final pick, AJ Styles.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be mad either way, but, I'm just not. I'll geek out if AJ Styles wins. I'm an AJ fan. I'm a Seth fan, but I would love to see that.
I would love to see AJ used as a top face too, but going back to the Vince McMahon thing, Vince McMahon is the guy who had AJ Styles job out to almost, so I don't make what come on.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised Heather didn't react to that.
She's heartbroken thinking about Uso, thinking about Sammy and Kevin losing. We broke her heart.
You might as well just say I was in the damn doghouse for that one. Holy shit. Well, since we're...
I'm telling you, it's gonna be hell if they do win. I'm telling you.
I didn't know. On top of that, then they're gonna win. Then freaking then you're gonna have Solo beat freaking what's his name, Austin Theory for the U.S. title. They're gonna have all the belts.
Oh God,
Jesus.
y'all trying to torture me, ain't you?
Don't call it a spoiler. Call it a prediction or whatever Paul Heyman's line is. Trust me. They're gonna
Okay,
have all the gold.
so this just goes to all our Twitter friends. If Heather gets riled up, it's all because of Carlos. So, right. Well, shall we just go ahead and transition right into NXT Battleground?
Yep.
All right. As we're recording this, of course, NXT is airing. And one of the matches that we already know that took place that we're still kind of pending on, for those of you who aren't watching, Lyra Valkyria defeated Cora Jade in the semifinals. So,
Oh wow.
Lyra Valkyria will end up being in an NXT Women's Championship match final, which we are still waiting for the result on that. It will be between Roxanne
Tiffany
Perez
Stratton. That's gonna
or
be Tiffany
Tiff-
Stratton.
And as Carlos is already trying to spoil the shit out of everything before I get it out, while we go through the rest of the card, Jesus, man, slow your roll. Anyways, why don't we start off with the last man
My
standing?
hand's up, so you shut up, or I have like the miss.
Hey, I'll get Heather to get that popcorn ready for you. All right, the last man standing match, Dijak taking on Ilya Dragunov. Brian, why don't we start with you?
Okay, some of these are going to be just a coin toss in the air for me, right? This is one of them. I kind of am going to go, I'm going to lean towards Dijak just because I feel like they're going to start like really wanting to build him up a little bit more. And I feel like Dragunov eventually is going to find his way towards the main roster even more. So I'm going to go Dijak with the last man standing option.
All right, Carlos.
I have the same prediction as Brian. I think Dijak needs the win. He's lost a lot of matches. And I just don't see there's any point for his character. I mean, he's gonna be with Scripps next if he loses. I mean, it's like he needs a win because he's been losing a lot of matches. And I think they need him to help build up other guys. And I think Ela can handle a loss. I pick Dijak.
All right, Heather.
Can I just sit this one out?
Yeah, she wants to sit.
Sure.
I don't know.
I pass.
I just haven't been keeping up with NXT. I'm sorry.
Or we could test your luck, and you could just flip coins and say, "Hey,
there you go."
Heather guesses them all right. She earns bragging rights.
That would be hilarious, actually, if you guessed them all right. Give us some kind of pick.
Okay, Dijak.
Pick on behalf of William. Cool. What would William do? Ask yourself that. Who would William pick? And just
I am curious to see if all of Heather's blind picks actually like run the table.
Yeah. We're gonna never hear the end of it. You know that.
Oh, that's bragging rights right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say I'm with the rest of you. I'm going with Dijak on this one. He needs that win big time, and doesn't Ilya already have one up on him?
I feel like he has it at some point.
Yeah. So, all right. So when we go to the NXT Heritage Cup, Noam Dar will be taking on Dragon Lee. Noam Dar, 2-time winner of the Heritage Cup. I just really hope they don't pull an MJF, but I really would like to see Dragon Lee finally get some momentum going and earn something here. I'm gonna pick Dragon Lee for my win on this one. Why don't we go with Carlos?
Oh, Dragon Lee is my boy. He's my favorite wrestler right now. Him and Eddie Thorpe are the two reasons I probably watch NXT. So I'm definitely going with Dragon Lee.
All right. Heather, just pick one, damn it.
Dragon Lee. I love Dragon Lee. That's one I've already said that before. I love him.
You keep that shit up, you're not going to upset us. Just kidding.
Just
Brian,
a shout, but I know we didn't get to cover this real quick, but I just want to give a shout out to Noam Dar. I thought his talk show was really entertaining last week on NXT, and again, he is a talent to keep an eye on. Though I do love what Noam Dar does. That's all I got.
My pick is going to be Dragon Lee as well, so it's a sweep for us, just like the Nuggets over the Lakers, right? So we basically are. I like the idea of Noam Dar winning this thing like over and over, because when he eventually gets towards that main roster, I could just see him 5-time NXT Cup winner and just using it, right? But yeah, I'm going Dragon Lee. He's just the more interesting wrestler to me, and I just think, that's the way they want to roll with it.
all right. Well, we move on to the NXT Tag Team Championship. Champions Gallus will be defending against the Creed brothers. Why don't we start with Carlos on this one?
Creed brothers all day, baby. It's about time that they ascend back. If they didn't get drafted in the draft, which kind of surprised me. Again, I feel like they've been going through like the whole like Cody Rhodes storyline where really they got to prove themselves again, maybe a little bit, but it's time to put the straps back on the Creed brothers. I'm going Creed brothers all the way.
Brian?
All right, so I'm taking the Creeds as well. One, because I feel like they need a little more shine again, and two, I mean, these guys went to my high school, right? I mean, obviously,
really? Oh wow,
yeah, they did. Their name's not Creed. I can't think of the last name, but ultimately, I don't know, maybe it's a little high school pride. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, let's do it. So they are my pick.
All right, Heather.
Yeah, I think the Creed brothers should win. Like, I've watched them a couple of times, and I think they've done really good. Because I haven't kept up with NXT, and I didn't really watch it before, but I think they really do a good job. So I'm gonna go to Creed brothers.
Well, I'm going to be the disappointment here. I'm going to stick with Gallus on this one, just because they've had a hell of a run, and I still think they can keep going. So why don't we go on to the NXT North American Championship in a three-way? Champion Wesley defending against Joe Gacy and Tyler Bate. Brian, let's start off with you.
Yeah, so it's going to be Wesley. We're in the Wesley era, right? And I just want to kind of say how impressed I've been with him. I wrote him off years ago, when they kind of broke up the whole tag team partner, and he just they're like, oh, we're going to make him a singles wrestler, and and he really has rose above all of that, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the Wesley train, and I don't see either of these guys taking the title off of him for a while.
All right, Carlos.
I think with Wesley too, it's one of those things. I think with that too, like we're talking about wanting to erase record books, and I think like with the NXT, they're looking at guys. They want to make sure that that they're going to get these more modern guys holding the records with NXT. And with that being said, I think Wesley wins. I think he'll eventually be the longest reigning North American champion. And I definitely don't see Tyler Bate winning. I could see Joe Gacy winning to do something with his character, but at the end of the day, I think Wesley is going to retain the title. And he's a Chad Frost guy.
Real quick, isn't an AEW guy the longest reigning champion currently?
I forget. I think it is. Yes. No, Adam Cole is the longest reigning. I feel like. I think it might have been the guy. I think it might have been what's his name who got released. The black guy. I forget his the one.
Roderick Strong.
No, what's the guy who he had like kind of like the Prince gimmick.
Oh, Velveteen
Dream. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might have been him. So I think Wesley needs to beat that record. But I think Velveteen Dream is also the youngest one. So I eventually think that'll be done. I think it is. I think it was Velveteen Dream.
Right on. If anybody wants to let us know in the comments on YouTube, please let us know that. Who's the longest running?
Interesting. Heather, pick one. Damn it.
Wesley. I've liked Wesley from the very beginning, so I'm gonna go with Wesley.
Wow. All right. Well, again, I'm going to be the odd duck out. I just think it's time to put a title on this guy. I'm going
Joe
with
Gacy.
Joe Gacy.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos already saw it. Jesus. Didn't even give me a chance.
You know, it's not a bad thing because I know triple threat matches are so easy to take a title off a champion that you don't want to look weak. So,
Well, yeah, I mean it's the right way to go about it, honestly. But I'll actually get more into that when we go into our AEW Double or Nothing predictions. So.
Do we agree that Tyler Bates there to take the pinfall?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even think that should be a second thought.
I feel like Tyler Bates just kind of waiting around for NXT Europe to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of got his I guess you can say on deck spot right there. So keep him where he's at.
Cool.
While we go for the NXT Championship, Carmelo Hayes defending against Braun Breaker. I'm already going to get mine out of the way. I don't see them taking it off. Carmelo Hayes will retain. Heather?
Definitely Carmelo Hayes. Like, really, he just got it, and Braun Breaker had it like way too long, in my opinion. So I'm going with Carmelo Hayes.
Right. Carlos?
Going back to my previous comments about wanting to clear the record books, the person who has the most title reigns right now in NXT is Samoa Joe with 3. So with that being said, and I think Braun Breaker's going to win the title.
So you think he's going to tie it up here?
Yep, I think he's going to tie up with 3. And I just think that they're going to, with a face which Carmelo is now, it's better for him to be chasing. So I really think that Braun as the heel is going to win the title.
Interesting. So while we go to Brian for his prediction.
All right. Echo effect coming. Mellow. It's going to be Mellow. I do think Mello wins. I do think, we know Braun's future bound on the main roster. It's Mello's time. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty clean, definitive win too. I don't think there's going to be any weird stuff with Trick. And, I just feel like it's going to be straight up win.
All right. So that pretty much leaves only one match left, which I was hoping we were going to see the result by now, but it's not going to happen. So why don't we just go ahead and get right to it? Actually, their match is coming up now. But we have the NXT Women's Championship Tournament Final. We already mentioned it earlier. Lyra Valkyria will take on the winner of Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton. I think it's definitely going to be Tiffany Stratton. And as far as winning it all, I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton. While we go to Carlos for his prediction. Did we lose?
I'm with you. I think it's going to be Tiffany Stratton as well. I think Roxanne's in that period of where, you want to see how someone handles adversity with not being on the main roster. When they go to the main roster, you want to see how they're going to handle not being the highlight of the show. So I think she's in that kind of period of seeing how she handles adversity. So I think Roxanne Perez doesn't win. I think she doesn't be champion for a while. And I definitely think it's Tiffany Stratton's time. So I'm going to definitely go with Tiffany Stratton for the win.
Heather?
Yeah, are you talking about the Barbie doll?
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton?
How dare you?
Yes, the Barbie doll.
Wow.
Yeah, I think she'll get it too.
All right, Brian.
That could be a movie. That could be a movie tie-in for them. The Barbie movie's coming out.
All right, Brian.
All right.
What's you got?
Come on, Barbie, let's go party. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton. When I first seen her, I was like, who is this Trish Stratus wannabe? Right. And she's just gotten a little better and a little better. And I think it was Carlos or John. I can't remember who posted in our chat about her
She
work.
trained with Ken Anderson. Yeah.
Well, of her wanting to stay on the NXT roster because she felt like she needed to work on her skill and get better. And I forget which one of you guys posted that, but that really resonated with me. And I do think they're going to give her the run with this. I'm a little over Roxanne Perez. When I watched their last spring break-in, I guess you can say PLE, right? I was really just turned off on Roxanne Perez. I don't know what that was. You know what I mean? So for me, definitely Tiffany Stratton.
She just seemed a little off in that last match. I mean, I'm not sure if it was just because she was maybe legitimately injured or I don't know. I think maybe in some ways she's been kind of dumbing it down too.
I think they played in too much with her being Booker T's student too. I think that them feeding her the fact that like almost like she's Booker T's chosen one, like that's made me like her less.
Yeah. Wow. Anytime you have to attach yourself to somebody else in the business, that's not a good sign for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like everyone mentioning, Braun Breaker being, Rick Steiner's son, or we always get the story of Flying Brian.
Yep.
Pillman Jr. always obviously being attached to his father, the late great Flying Brian.
Yeah.
You can only beat it so much to death. And
I get the legacy thing. I mean, that is a legit attachment, right? When it's somebody's kid, somebody's this and that.
Yeah.
But to your point, there's a limit. But also, I think about this sticks with me years ago. I remember, was it Ric Flair when he first got in the business said they were going to try to make him Dusty Rhodes' cousin, and they veered away from that, thank God. But they just felt like, oh wow, when you attach, and Dusty Rhodes was against it. He goes, no, when you attach yourself to somebody in the business, you're setting yourself up for failure. And so, and again, that was a different era where we didn't have all these legacies either. But cool.
All right. Did any of you have any other thoughts for NXT Battleground coming up?
I'm good.
All righty.
Heather will be watching and doing a live play-by-play, so if you guys are ready for that.
Oh, no, hell I won't.
Wow. Jeez. I think it's pretty clear which event she's going to be watching that night, so poor John Moxley's going to have drool all over his TV picture.
Right. Should be looking at his blood.
Oh. All righty. Anyhow, why don't we go ahead and move on to AEW's Double or Nothing, which will air the same time as NXT Battleground, 8 o'clock Eastern time on pay-per-view. And it's quite the card. And I think they've done a better job not stacking it so hard. I just hope they don't look to add too much to it. It's still early, but you never know what Tony Khan will have planned.
How many matches do you have listed right now? Just the 8 that you're predicting us? I think there's going to be 4 more matches added to the card or the pre-show. I think because they already announced, because even though it's not on the poster, they already announced Ethan Page and the Ass Boys, the Gun Club against the Hardys and
got that.
And okay, so you got 9 then. I think most. Go ahead.
I do have 9 matches listed.
One of them sounds good.
I do believe one of them will be 0 hour.
Okay.
And I have a feeling we'll make a prediction on that one. Why don't we just go ahead and go right to the card? Why don't we start off with the AEW International Championship Battle Royal, Blackjack Battle Royal. Orange Cassidy had 20 different guys apparently go to Tony Khan to challenge for that championship. And apparently this was the solution. Orange Cassidy being the longest reigning, I believe, making the most successful title defenses in the company ever with that championship out of all the championships. Everybody's kind of leaning more toward Orange Cassidy. I don't know. I think where we mentioned this in NXT, this is the one time where Orange Cassidy could lose the championship but not look weak. I have a feeling somebody ends up walking out the AEW International Champion. Who, I couldn't tell you. I just don't see Orange Cassidy retaining. So my pick is going to go to somebody not Orange Cassidy.
To the house.
And
I was gonna say, if we do we want to throw a random name out there just to kind of, even if
I'm gonna go with Miro. I think Miro's gonna come back and win it.
Ooh. Okay.
But to me, I wish that, like, I don't understand why they're not doing this as a casino battle royal. Like, to me, like, I would have had Orange Cassidy come out first, and I don't understand why they just I don't get why they're not just doing it as a casino battle royal.
Or 0 hour, have the battle royal, and then the winner challenges Orange Cassidy later in the main card.
Yeah, to me, it's just like, really. I mean, again, I guess I am liking that they're trying to get more people on the card. I am a little jealous because we only got 8 matches in San Francisco, so I'm kind of like, what the fuck, Like, I know that we had the Iron Man match, but I would have loved to have more matches just as a fan for AEW. But I see Miro coming back to win it, or Kota Ibushi, but I think Kota Ibushi later enters with the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite feud. But I think Miro wins. I think Miro comes back and wins.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm not going to steal your pick, Carlos, but I really like that Miro pick. Because one, believable, right? And two, it's the right position on the card in that kind of middle, title. And three, I mean, he's looming in the background. We keep forgetting about him. So I like that pick a lot. So I'm going to go a different route just for some variety here for us. Send in Hook. I wouldn't mind seeing Hook with that international title and for him to get back on track a little bit with some momentum that he seems to lost. And so I'm going to go with Hook.
So we're going to see Hook be a double champion.
Yeah. Well, the FTW belt's not really a sanctioned title, so.
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with Tony Khan on that. I think
it should be. At this point, it should be. This is
the time sanction that bitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Heather,
hey, if Roman Reigns can have that many titles, so can Hook.
Ooh, ouch. Acknowledge Hook. Anyways, Heather, do you have a prediction who wins that battle royal?
I'm just going to say Orange Cassidy because I don't even know who the hell I was in there. So I'm just going to say that Orange Cassidy
They haven't announced anybody. They haven't announced anybody
yet.
Yeah.
You're not behind. You're not behind the 8 ball here.
The only ones that I see was Orange Cassidy, Aaron Solo, Powerhouse Hobbs, QT Marshall, and everybody else is to be determined.
Oh,
that's right. They did announce on QTV that they were entering it. You're right. Yeah, that's right.
I think this would be interesting if Powerhouse Hobbs ends up winning it, but I don't see that. I just don't have anybody in mind. I just don't see Orange Cassidy walking out with the championship, but who knows? What the hell? I'll pick Danhausen.
There you go.
He's injured.
Yeah, but he's got magical powers, so.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
He can curse him.
Oh, good Lord. If that happens, John, I'm coming after you. If we see some bony, stupid shit like this, like all the guys we curse and jump out of the ring or something. Oh, good Lord.
Did I ever tell you guys how much I really don't get or like that character?
Really?
Okay. Everybody's got their fans. I'm just not drawn into that character. Not trying.
I'm okay with it just because he's a jobber. I mean, he's a jobber, and I'm okay. If they had him winning all these big matches, I'd have an issue with it. But the fact that he loses, like the fact that he got beat by Tony Nese like in 30 seconds, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. He's one of those guys I'm not drawn into. I mean, you need people like that to fill out the card. You need entertainment. So I get it. I'm not going to he needs to go, kick him out, but man, I just can't get drawn into it.
Yeah, it's all good. He's not everybody's cup of tea. Have they mentioned has Daniel Garcia been entered in that battle royal by chance?
No one has. It might be something that happens this week, but nobody else has. No one's been announced but the QT Marshall, and that was only because of QTV on Friday on Rampage.
I think if somehow Daniel, especially after the match they had recently, I think if Daniel Garcia ends up in that battle royal, I'm going to say 100% Daniel Garcia might be the one that walks out with that championship.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Ooh, yeah. Or even an absolute Ricky Starks or somebody like that.
I think he's in a fight. Jay White.
He's up against Jay White in that.
They haven't announced it yet, but that's going to happen.
Okay, got it.
Oh, really?
No, they haven't announced it officially. But Ricky Stark, he has a segment on Dynamite, and I think that's where the match gets made. Yeah. That's what I was telling you. I think that match is going to be added. I think you'll get to see the Acclaim versus the House of Black, and then Keith Lee versus Swerve will all be added to the card.
Gotcha.
Interesting. So why don't we go to another match, the Hardy Party versus the Firm, even though it's, I guess, not really the Firm, it's the Ass Boys and Ethan Page. And up for grabs if the Hardy Party wins, Matt Hardy gets control of Ethan Page's contract. I don't know. I think they beat it around too long with Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy's contract for so long with the Firm. I really don't want to see this continue on. I think the Firm gets the victory. Let's go with Carlos.
I totally think that. I think the Hardys and Isaiah Cassidy are going to win. I don't think you're going to have Jeff Hardy take a loss that soon. I'm with you. Like I'm happy to see Ethan Page I love Ethan Page, so I'm really happy to see him get in a pay-per-view match. I hope that it does end up on the main pay-per-view and not the 0 hour. But I'm with you. Like this feud is continuing on for too long already. It's time to move on. Like let the Hardys go after the tag team titles. But I think Isaiah. I think the Hardys and Isaiah win. But I'm with you. Like I don't want to see this thing continue. But I just don't see them winning, to be honest.
Heather?
I'm like over the whole thing. Like I mean, I'm for real. It just needs to go away. But yeah, I think the Hardys and Isaiah Cassidy. What the hell? Isaiah Cassidy will win.
Oh wow, Brian.
Whenever you put stipulations that specific on a match, I think it has to pay off. So I am going to go Hardy Party. Yeah, I think back to the many years. You guys could probably name tons. Like I think of there was a SummerSlam match with a can of dog food, right? It was the British Bulldog and I can't remember who. I want to say Psycho Sid, but I just feel like when you're that specific, you got to give the fans that moment.
Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns did the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I just think when you get specific, it's, so I think they're just going to play that into a story, even though I'm not like into it like you guys. I'm just like, all right, here we go again. I do think they win.
Not to tail back, but I think that was the British Bulldog and Ken Shamrock.
Thank you. Yes, it was Ken Shamrock. Yep. Yeah, because that's when he went crazy because he had to eat the dog food. And
yeah, that was actually the one time Ken Shamrock cut a decent promo in wrestling, sadly. I can't even believe I remembered that. That's how bad it was.
No, I remember that now. It was Shamrock because he had it all on his face. And yep, good call.
Yeah. Why don't we go on to the AEW World Tag Team Championship? FTR defending against Jay Lethal and Carlos's boy Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, with Karen Jarrett now. Woo!
Jesus, let's have Carlos get this shit out of the way.
Oh, so I mean, I love to me, like the thing that I appreciate. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Jeff Jarrett, but to me, like the one thing I appreciate about Tony Khan is that he sees the value in Jeff Jarrett. Like ever since Ric Flair's last match, I mean, he carried that whole feud and everything else. Even though Ric Flair was a dumpster fire in the ring, like Jeff Jarrett really showed that he had something to give to wrestling. And I love it. I'm like with Ted again. I know I'm not alone on this train, and I know Ted the Hillbilly Hills with me on this. I love the work Jeff Jarrett's doing right now with Jay Lethal. But with that said, I definitely see FTR retaining the titles. As much as I love Karen Jarrett, I think she's going to get involved. I just don't see FTR losing the titles that quickly. But I'm excited for this match, and I see lots of shenanigans. But at the end of the day, I think FTR retain.
Heather?
I think FTR is gonna keep the titles. It's gonna be a crazy match, that's for sure. I think it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild match. But I think
But
it's gonna be one that's gonna be.
she'll be throwing her high heels in the ring. She'll be using her high heels.
But yeah, I think FTR is gonna retain the titles.
Interesting, Brian.
I'm going with FTR as well, and I see Mark Briscoe also is going to be a special guest referee of this one. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
See, this is where I kind of throw in.
You think he's a turn heel?
I think Mark Briscoe will pull the heel turn and side with Lethal and Jarrett. So I am actually going to throw my pick on Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I think this will be an interesting turn of events if that does happen.
So then, do you think Mark Briscoe is going to feud with FTR? Because that seems kind of like where does that leave that feud? Like, is he going to get another tag team partner? Like, where do you see it going if that happens? Pepsi Man.
You never know. I mean, for all we know, hell, they could be the next challengers for House of Black for the Trios Championship. That would be
with Lethal and Jarrett and
Briscoe.
Briscoe, okay.
I think that would be a hell of a team right there to win the
with them as the tag team champions already.
Yeah, might as well.
Interesting. I think the Acclaim are going to win the belt. So interesting take.
So yeah. Anyhow, why don't we go on to the unsanctioned match? Chris Jericho taking on Adam Cole, baby. Let's start with Heather on this one.
I hope Adam Cole whoops Chris Jericho's ass. I mean, because they've already. That's how I really feel. No, I mean, because they already, the whole build up and everything, and then what happened with Britt Baker and just all that, and yeah, I just hope he just beats the hell out of him. Yeah, so I'm going with Adam Cole.
All right, Carlos.
Again, because we didn't get to cover this really quick, the shout out to the match that Roderick Strong and Chris Jericho had on last Wednesday's Dynamite. It was really, really fun. I think definitely Adam Cole's going to win. I see Adam Cole as being the next challenger. I guess spoiler alert, I guess be the next challenger for MJF's title. So I definitely see Adam Cole winning and him going on to challenge the world championship. I think him being in the main event after this feud. I definitely see Adam Cole taking the win.
Brian?
Boom! Adam Cole, baby. That's going to be the pick.
Yeah, this one I'm definitely not going to argue with any of you guys. I'm going with Adam Cole on this. I just think it'd be too early for him to take a loss like this from his comeback. So, why don't we move on to the TBS Championship? Champion Jade Cargill defending once again against Taya Valkyrie. I think this is going to be finally the moment we see Jade get a blemish on her record. I think we're going to see her very first loss and Taya take the championship off her. So there's my pick. Brian, what do you say?
I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to say Jade retains. I feel like they're going to keep that on her, and I don't know who dethrones her eventually, right? I would like it to be somebody like an Athena or somebody like that, but I know they've done that. I can't think of what veteran /
They say Chris Statlander when she comes back. That's what they've been waiting for.
Statlander would be a nice returning star to do that. But yeah, I like that idea. But I feel like they're going to keep, the minute Jade loses that title, that's when things are going to get really real for her. And is she ready to be real and actually survive on her own without a prop? So.
All right, Carlos.
I'm with you, John. I think Taya Valkyrie is going to win. I just think it's time. I think I'm bored with Jade, especially the shenanigans they pulled last week with having her beat like all these 3 jobbers, and they're just padding her win-loss record. I feel like waiting. I feel like the time they waited too long already. Like waited around for Statlander. I think it's time to pull something different, and I think it's time to have Jade lose the title. And it doesn't mean that Jade can't win it back. I think it's time for a new champion. I'm going with Taya. Weta loca, weta loca.
Kind of interesting you bring that up. I think Jade with the TBS championship will be similar to Lex Luger with the United States Championship back in the WCW days. It always
Where
seemed,
they lose it, get it back, lose it, get it back.
yeah.
Yep.
And I will say Lex Luger was always one of my most recognized favorite United States champions back in the day. So that's how I kind of see Jade's role. I would like to eventually see her hold the World Women's Championship. I just don't think it's her time to hold that yet. So
That's exactly what I was just going to ask is, can you guys vision her challenging for the world title? Because if she loses that TBS title, I think that's going to be the next elevation for her, right? Not to play on AEW's canceled show, but I think that is going to be the next level, if you will.
right.
Why not? Why not have her? Why not? I mean, because I feel like I know we'll get to it, but I feel like both these women's title matches are very underwhelming. I mean, honestly, like they're running back 2 matches that we've already seen, and for their biggest pay-per-view of the year, I'd be really kind of disappointed with the booking for this. But why not have Jade go after her and go after that title? I can see it. I can see that happening too. Why not?
Yeah. Heather, what's your thoughts on that?
I really would like Taya Valkyrie to win, but I don't know the way things have gone in the past. I see them letting Jade retain. Her reign has just gotten so stale for me. Like, and that she's not really fighting anybody because she's ran out of people to fight. But I don't know. I hope Taya wins, but I don't know. I don't see it going that way. I'm picking Jade.
Wow. Yeah, another heel under Heather. So all right, from the TBS championship, let's go to the TNT championship ladder match. Wardlow will be defending against Christian Cage. Christian Cage, obviously well known for his ladder matches with Edge, the Hardys, the Dudleys. He's very experienced in these types of matches, but we've had very short rings with Wardlow. This better not be a short ring because I will be really pissed off, and I hope AEW gets this right. To me, it shouldn't even be Christian Cage in this. This should be Luchasaurus. I want to see Wardlow retain so he can eventually face Luchasaurus for that championship. So my pick's going to go to Wardlow. Heather, let's start with your pick on that one.
I'm going to say Wardlow. Wardlow is my second man. Yeah, I'm going with Wardlow.
No bias there from Heather, so
Heather, I'm going to point out you like Moxley and Wardlow, both of these Ohio guys.
Oh.
I think you're in the wrong state. You got to think for Dolph Ziggler too, and The Miz.
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I'm like, ooh, she's got a type.
Maybe she likes Ryan better than Dolph.
I do. Heck yeah.
Yeah, we already knew that. So, Brian, what's your pick?
Yeah, it's Wardlow for me as well. I agree with you, John. Like, it should have been Luchasaurus, right? I think Christian is now in that really casual wrestler / manager phase. So yeah, I definitely feel Wardlow should win this. I heard a very weird analogy the other day that I want to share about Christian. Somebody compared him to Paul Bear. In the fact, yeah, you guys will get a kick out of this. And the fact, it was on Twitter, and that they said, hear me out. And they said, Christian Cage is like Paul Bear was to Kane with Luchasaurus. And I get the vibe, but I just thought you guys could.
That's fucking stupid because he wears a black turtleneck.
I think that was maybe what he was trying to get at. But I was like, well, I got to tell the team this one.
So. Oh, good lord.
Yeah, I don't think that was a
Out
very.
of shape, 400-pound guy who never wrestled in his life. Yeah, okay, that's a comparison.
I don't think that was a very well thought out analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It did entertain me.
I'm sure it did, but I would disappoint that person. I'm sorry. Carlos.
I'm on point with what you said, John. Like I feel like again, like you ruined Powerhouse Hobbs' title reign to put the belt back on Wardlow, and again, I do like Chaos. I wouldn't be upset if Christian won because I think Christian's one of the best heels they have in AEW. But at the same time, like it just feels odd that again this whole match just feels weird to me. Like I said, like Luchasaurus is big. Luchasaurus is a big badass. It feels like it should be. It definitely feels like it should be him and Wardlow. I just think with the pairing of Arn and Wardlow now, for him to lose, it would just totally deflate everything. I definitely think Wardlow needs this match, and I definitely see Wardlow winning. And I honestly, I'm hoping Edge comes to AEW and him and Christian get one more run as a tag team. That's my 2 cents as far as Christian goes in AEW.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, put him in a match with the Hardys, like a final retirement match or something.
Yeah, like those two again. They get to have one last TLC match. They can't call it that, but they can call it. You know, they can still
last
probably yeah, but just and again, just them getting to fight the young. Like, I just don't. I think WWE ruined Edge when they had Roman Reigns stack him. Stack him and Daniel Bryan together at WrestleMania. It just ruined. They haven't utilized him well. Like he should have been the world champion, and they're not utilizing him correctly with this last run. So I hope that he lets go of his loyalty to WWE and goes to AEW. And people forget, like WWE didn't want Christian. That's why he went to AEW. They didn't want. He was ready to wrestle, and Vince didn't want him. So I wouldn't. I want to see Edge come to AEW and him and those two get one more run as a tag team.
Yeah, bring it on. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we go on to the AEW Women's Championship. Champion Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm in what's been one hell of a feud. Jesus. Didn't even let me get it out, and you're already going bleh. That's like Heather booing me when I tell her to acknowledge me. Anyways. She unmuted. She's going to say something.
Yeah, boo.
Well, it's just this, like, you went from all these like there's this match makes no fucking sense. Like she already beat her. It's like stupid. It's making the women's title look secondary. I don't like it at all. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, and that's why I say, I mean, they made the TBS championship look more prestige than the AEW Women's Championship.
Well, I think the build this is one of my criticisms for Tony Khan. Like the proof is in your actions. Like the women's builds have been taken. I mean, yeah, you've been putting a women's segment on every week, but it obviously hasn't been the priority because we're getting literally two repeat matches for the biggest pay-per-view of the year because he's been focused on the 4 pillars in the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club, and these women we're getting is 2 repeat matches for the women's titles of the biggest pay-per-view of the year. It just shows that he really doesn't give a shit about the women. Sorry, that is what it is. Proof's in the pudding.
Brian, you know how you had that segment slated for Heather?
We need a
one more and you went for Carlos here.
I'll have to think of something clever for that. Yeah. That's funny.
Well, we can still call it the bitch's corner. I mean,
I think you better clear that with Heather first.
I know she's on with that title. See,
yeah.
Oh Lord. Tap Out Talk may need to expand its horizons there, Brian.
Get a little maybe that can be some of my short stuff that I want to try.
There you go. Hell yeah.
See which bitch tap.
Yes, we could do rants from the channel. I love it.
I think about Mama's Family. It's my dime. It's your dime. Spill it. Like I'm gonna go off for a second here.
Well, like you haven't already.
It's just so disappointing. It just it's like he just doesn't give a shit about the women. And it's like he has a great roster, and it's like do better, Tony Khan, with the women's division. Let go. Let someone else book it. Damn it.
Yeah, should have kept Leva Bates for that.
Right? Oh my gosh, that made me so sad. Just because like being an observer of the weekend when I was there, like she did so much for that company. And again, it's one of those things where again, at least she wasn't released a year ago, but it's like there's so much that she did behind the scenes and building the AEW heels and just the community service part of it. That really made me sad.
Yeah, I think if you combined Leva Bates and Serena Deeb as the two women to kind of book the women's division, I think
Oh yeah,
AEW would have one hell of a women's division.
heck yeah. But again, let someone even like Will Washington, the guy they just hired, like he knows wrestling. Let him do it. Damn it, let let me see what you can do. I'll let you handle the women or let me see what you can do. Let's why not? And Dustin Rhodes too.
You know, the only reason they probably let her out go because CM Punk's wife probably didn't like her, right? So now all of a sudden, I didn't watch. I'll get blocked by him.
Damn. Woo.
Don't share that if you guys are listening. Oh, he'll end up shadow blocking me.
Well, no, and I guess it's just one of those things where I think like that's for me. Like I think you're gonna see a lot of these guys. Like you're gonna see like the Angelicos and all these guys who are on contracts. They're like again, you're gonna start seeing all these people drop off because they don't. He doesn't want to renew these guys. People that he signed, that you're gonna start seeing them eventually get dropped off. At the same time, it's like you have the money, like sign them back. For her, she should have been one that was kept because she did so much behind the scenes for them. It really is sad.
All right, now that we've kind of went off the rails quite a bit.
Prediction time? Oh yeah. I'll go first.
Thanks, Carl.
I'll go first.
No, I haven't quite got to the damn match.
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Jesus. He goes off on a tangent and just controls everything. Like, holy shit.
In the bathroom break match of the card. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wow. So the champion, Jamie Hayter, will be defending against Tony Storm. Carlos, why don't you go ahead and give us your damn prediction?
In a match with again, to me, like we should be seeing a 6-person, tornado match as far as I'm concerned. It should be a 6 of them in the match, but they would have made it more retaining. But I definitely see Jamie Hayter retaining in a match that, again, the match I'm looking least forward to on the whole card, and that's sad.
Heather, do I dare ask for any comments if Carlos hasn't taken your sunshine moment yet?
No, I mean, I don't really give a shit about the match either. But I think Jamie Hayter will retain. I mean, but it's just pointless match. I mean, yeah.
Wow. I think Carlos broke off on you too much. So, Brian, why don't you cover what?
Bitches got to stick together. Damn.
Why don't you cover what Carlos hasn't yet?
So I do want to say, Carlos, I want to let you know what just went through my head there for a minute because I had an angel on my shoulder, devil on my shoulder moment. And right when John said, "Let's get your idea," I almost muted you just for fun. Just like, here's what I think. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. That's your tag partner. Don't do it. But so no, I'm going to go with Jamie Hayter, right? Because I like Toni Storm. I've said it over and over again. I feel like she's the female Chris Jericho, right? I feel like she's just got that unique vibe. And, I would not be mad, but the reality is AEW needs to continue to build its own homegrown talent and future stars. And Jamie Hayter falls right into that line. And I think her title needs to remain on her for a while.
Well, yeah, I am going to be the outcast once again. I think
Picking the outcast.
Yeah. I am actually going with Toni Storm on this. The only reason why is because I think we're going to see this feud go on between the Outcast, and I think we're going to see a new member of the Outcast come into play here.
Ooh. Who we think, like an Athena or?
I don't know. I think we're going to get a surprise here on this match, and the very reason why I think we'll see a surprise is the very thing that all three of you have pitched is it's almost a feel that nobody gives a shit about this match, but there's got to be something that's got to make it interesting. And I think this is the time to do it if Tony Khan books it right. His history so far has been downhill as far as booking the women's matches in the pay-per-view events. And I really hope this is the time he realizes, okay, this is where I need to swerve everybody. I hope it happens. I'm not counting on it, but I'm just going to do it for good health sakes. I'm going to go with Tony Storm taking the championship off Jamie Hayter and becoming the first 2-time AEW Women's Champion.
Okay. And I like that. I want to say for the record, I like this Outcast storyline. I think it's female NWO, right? And I love the concept of, it's not as obvious, but I like the fact they're getting all the other brand, if you will, people to come over and join forces. So I think that's kind of cool.
I like it too, but it's been booked really weak where he's had them take too many losses already. Like they should have, if they shouldn't be losing. Like they've already lost to Britt and Tony's. They've already lost to them over and over again. And it's like that's the part of it that's just like you should be like they should be like the NWO where they win every time with cheating, or again if you want to book them strong, like they shouldn't be. They've lost too much. I'm just not interested. Like when they beat them in a tag match, that to me like that's in wrestling should have signaled the end of the feud already. So now it's like it's been booked incorrectly from the get go. Like they should have been winning more matches and not been losing to the girls.
Yeah, just the execution of it, absolutely.
All right, we're going to get into Anarchy in the Arena. We got the Elite, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, and Kenny Omega taking on Blackpool Combat Club, the team of Brian Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli, and Heather's favorite, John Moxley. Heather, let's get your prediction first on this one.
Oh my God, this match right here is going to be just utter and complete chaos, just like the other. Like, wasn't the last one at Double or Nothing? Wasn't that one where
last year it was the JAS versus it was JAS versus Blackpool Combat Club last year. Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah. Good. I know that one was freaking wild as hell. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's gonna, what insane shit they're gonna do to each other. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Blackpool Combat Club, of course.
Biased. All right, Brian.
Yeah, if this was a traditional match, I would be opted to go with the Elite. But since this is a chaotic arena, hardcore style brawling match, I don't think you can count, John Stone Cold cosplay Moxley out in this situation.
Oh, how dare you!
And I think it has to be the Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, great. Carlos King would let you finish without that. You're a goddamn tag team partner.
Stone Cold cosplay? How that's
yeah. Have you ever heard me call him that before?
No, I
used to do it on the channel all the time. I'd be like, okay, here we go. Stone Cold cosplay Moxley.
Oh, wow. Oh.
All right, Carlos, go ahead and unleash.
So first of all, John Moxley is my favorite wrestler. So let's get the single wrestler. So let's get that out. But I think Konosuke Takeshita is going to turn, and I think he joins the Blackpool Combat Club. And I definitely see the BCC winning, and then eventually we'll see Kota Ibushi join the Elite, and then we'll get that 5-on-5 match for Blood and Guts. But I definitely see the Blackpool Combat Club pulling this out with the addition of Konosuke Takeshita, whose name I can finally say now. Woo-hoo.
Well, I can't really argue with any of you three. So this one's going to be our first unanimous, right? Or no, our second unanimous. I'm going to go with the Blackpool Combat Club. I think Carlos made really great points with Konosuke Takeshita, especially with Don Callis being the one that kind of brought him to the Elite. This might have been in the plans all along. So,
and he hasn't been on TV. He's been, pretty, hasn't been on TV either. So I think they're definitely pointing towards that.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. So, without any further ado, because I don't know if any matches have been added yet, we've only got really one match that has been listed, and that is the Four Pillars match for the AEW World Championship. Champion MJF will be defending against Jungle Boy Jack Perry, also against Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. I think pretty much the majority of the wrestling fans out there are going to go with the same pick I am. I think it's wise to keep the championship where it's at. MJF is going to be, in my opinion, the Ric Flair of AEW as long as he sticks with AEW. So my pick is the champion retains MJF. And why don't we go with Carlos for the next prediction?
So first of all, I'll give Tony Khan crap for the way he books the women, but I'll give him his flowers for this match. I think this match is a really cool concept. I think it's really cool that they're building on the homegrown talent, because for a while, Tony Khan was bringing in all these other guys from WWE and putting them over, and he was getting a lot of criticism for that. So I think it's cool that he's finally concentrating back on the homegrown talent. I think this match is a cool concept. A lot of these guys have been getting criticism like they're not ready, but they are ready. You gotta shoot your shot. Again, all these guys, every time, if you look at every pay-per-view match, they always deliver. I mean, Jungle Boy and Christian Cage at Revolution was an amazing match. Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus in a steel cage match. He's delivered. I don't want to see Jungle Boy turn heel, because if you're going to do that, why don't you just keep him with Christian Cage in the very beginning? And I do hope Sammy gets a face turn out of this, but I definitely see MJF winning this match. I think at the end, the other three kind of just cost each other the match with trying to go after the title. And I think MJF does like what we saw Austin Theory do, throws another guy out of the ring after they hit one of their finishers and pins somebody, and he gets the cheap victory. But I definitely see MJF holding on to the title for another at least 6 months or so.
All right, Heather.
Yeah, I see MJF keeping the title. I don't see him taking off of him anytime soon.
Oh, well, you keep that short and sweet.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Understandable. All right, Brian, let's go ahead and wrap it up with you.
All right, so MJF is going to retain. He's in the middle of a very hot long-term championship run that's defining AEW currently. Again, with this being the Four Pillars match, to your guys' points, there will be people that will go next level. They'll showcase their skills. I see Sammy, Jack Perry, and Darby Allin all doing that, but it won't be enough to beat MJF for the title. One thing to maybe I'll throw out there is a long shot, but not crazy. It's been a long time with Sting and Darby Allin together, and this might be an opportunity for Sting to turn, or Darby to turn on Sting when he tries to help him or something. And then that could lead into a payoff match with Darby and Sting at the next pay-per-view. I don't think Sting's ever played a heel in his career. And don't give me fake NWO Sting, that doesn't count. But ultimately, I could see something like that playing out, because we're going to get some kind of surprise. Tony always likes to do something, even if it's a return of a wrestler or some kind of swerve. So that's my pick.
Well, not to be the bearer of bad news, they did try to have Sting go heel before. He turned on Hogan, I believe. But the problem was the fans just did not boo him.
Yeah, and that's.
I think wasn't he kind of heel when he was with the in TNA when they were with the what do you call it, I forget the main event Mafia.
Main event Mafia.
Yeah, I feel like he was a heel then, wasn't he?
I don't know if he was really full on heel though.
Yeah, it was almost like NWO Wolfpack, right? Like you're supposed to like them, but then you do, and But I guess Wolfpack was the spinoff. But yeah, I just I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's too late for him to try something like that. But I mean, for me, I like the Darby Allin Sting thing, but it's starting to wear a little. And I'm like, where can we go? And I like to think in this match, what are these guys going to do coming out of this match? And I could see Darby taking on Sting in some format, and that would give him a program to work. MJF's going to be MJF. He's going to take on the next challenger. And then for Sammy and Jungle Boy, I think, they can go, heck, they can have a feud outside of this feud even more,
What I wouldn't mind hopping off kind of what you said to piggy off East, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe MJF has Darby in a submission hold and he won't let it go, and then Sting comes down and throws the towel in. I wouldn't mind seeing MJF retire Sting. Why not have them fight at All In and in Wembley Stadium and have that be Sting's retirement match, and MJF gets the rub of getting to be the one that retires Sting. I know that the storyline kind of dictates Darby and Sting with that, but why not give that rub to MJF? I don't want to see Darby as a heel. I think Darby's a good face. I wouldn't mind seeing Sting in MJF, but then MJF is the one to retire and put him out to pasture for good. Because that's kind of like the old wrestling, old school. You do the deed going out.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of want to give an update from our NXT segment earlier. We did get a conclusion of the NXT Women's Championship semifinal. Tiffany Stratton did defeat Roxanne Perez.
Nice. Was it a clean victory?
Well, I don't know. I just see it by pinfall. I wasn't watching it.
It was. It was.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks, Heather, for NXT hater result watcher. So, well, without any further ado, let's start with Heather. You have any final thoughts for anything this weekend?
Just not Roman and Solo better not win. That's all I gotta say.
Carlos?
For me, to me the main event of the weekend is Double or Nothing. I'm looking forward. I want to see the Acclaim match get added. I think if they win, I like the Blackpool Combat Club as trios champions. But I just looking at the way Tony Khan books, if the Acclaim have those belts, they would be featured more on television. So that's what I'm kind of looking for them to maybe win those titles. But again, it's going to be a fun week of wrestling. I mean, I'll definitely check out all the shows, but the one I'm definitely looking forward to most is Double or Nothing.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, for me, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think Clash of Champions is the one I'm looking forward to. And I think it's just because of the Roman story arc, because I'm
Night of Champions, isn't it? Night of Champions?
But I say Clash. So
Hey.
But yeah, Night of Champions, for me, that I am intrigued by the Roman storyline and where they're gonna go with that. Now, that's probably also good for me not to hold AEW Double Nothing so high standards going into this weekend, because usually when I lower it, I usually come out pleasantly surprised, much like I've been with NXT when it was Stand and Deliver. I mean, I was blown away by that show, right? So I'm hoping something surprises me this weekend, and I don't know which show that's going to be. They're all, spring shows, right? We're getting spring into summer, and, we know they're not putting all their effort into this. AEW is going to put their effort into their big Wembley sellouts, and then, of course, WWE is building towards Money in the Bank, and NXT's booty call NXT, right? So that's it.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Want to give a special shout out to StreamYard for being the right way to connect us hosts together and providing a special episode for all you listeners out there. We're going to eventually try a live show one of these days when we get brave enough and hopefully provide some extra content outside the podcast. Also, thank you, Lipson, for making our podcast available to every audio platform out there. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, Amazon Music, Deezer, Ghana, YouTube, and more. Also, you can visit our website, www.wrestlingfansinsight.com. Check out the links there to catch us on your favorite audio platform. If you're also able to on those platforms, give us a 5-star rating and review. If you're on Facebook, you can go find our group, The Fans of Pro Wrestling, and feel free to join in. Also, you can interact with us on Twitter. Heather, you want to give your Twitter handle?
It's at Bama Girl _ the number 4 _ EVA, Bama Girl Forever. Roll Tide, bitches.
Brian?
It's at the Brian Adkins. And remember, guys, it's not goodbye. It's game over.
Carlos?
At C to the LOS 77. Also at Conquer the No, and then also on Instagram, Rainbow Goodness _.
And you can catch me at WF Insight Podcast. And you can also leave us a voicemail or text message on our line, 1-385-367-4772. Again, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We know we were a little long. We apologize for that. But it is a big weekend for wrestling. We will be back, though, on Sunday, June 4th, believe it or not, which we will be going over the results of our predictions here. So we'll see how we did and see who's going to have the bragging rights. I'm sure Heather's just waiting to smack the shit out of all of us. So without any further
Yes, I am.
Without any further ado, thank you all for listening to us. We'll catch you again on Sunday, June 4th.